Hello, folks, and welcome once again to Focus on East Alabama. It's our distinct pleasure to be visiting today with folks at the Career Technical Education portion of Central High School here in Phenix City. Need to tell you that we're actually going to be telecasting three different programs focusing on the different areas here at the Career Tech Center. And we want to say a special thank you to Bobby Cook, who is the Career Tech Director. Bobby is kind of he's not with us today because he had to substitute for somebody else. So we have somebody that's substituting for Bobby. We want to welcome Christina Wilson to Focus on East Alabama. Christina, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and chatting with us. As I told you earlier, we just want to talk with you a little bit about the Career Tech program here at Central High School. But before we do that, since you've never been on program before, you have to introduce yourself to our audience. Tell us who you are, where you're from, about your family, and your background.
I'm Christina Wilson. I am currently the Career Tech Counselor, also known as the College and Career Readiness Coach. I'm originally from Abbeville, Alabama, and I have been with Central Phenix City for about 15 years.
Okay, that's great. You have family?
Absolutely. I'm the mother of three triplets, 10-year-olds, Lakewood Elementary.
Oh, okay, that's great. Okay. Now, how long have you actually been working in the field of education?
Total of 17 years.
17 years. How long have you been in Phenix City?
15 years.
15 years. That's great. Okay. All right. Now, we're going to point out in our conversations with these different areas here at the Career Tech Center the things that are offered as far as education is concerned and careers. Let's just talk a little bit about the ones that we're going to be talking about today, and that's carpentry, masonry, auto technology, heating and air conditioning, and welding. We're going to be visiting with each one of those areas today. Okay, tell us a little about it.
Well, we're super excited. Typically, when we focus on those different careers, we try to look at the architecture and construction cluster. And each one of those, except for automotives, fit into that cluster. So our students basically identify between welding, masonry, as well as construction. And then if they want to go to automotive tech route, they choose automotives. So there are jobs available, and we try to make sure those students are prepared to go into the workforce.
Okay. Well, we're going to break away for just a moment, and then we're going to be in first with the carpentry area. So we'll be back in just a moment. We've now moved into one of the actual work areas here at the Career Technical area of Central High School. We're going to be visiting in the carpentry area with the instructor here, Mr. Shane Flippo. Shane, thanks for being with us on program today. Now, I know you pretty well, right? I have known you all your life.
Yes, sir.
But there are folks out there that are watching us that don't know you, don't know anything about your background or anything else. So we're going to allow you the opportunity to introduce yourself to our audience, okay? I'll hold that.
Okay. I'm Shane Flippo. I'm in my 15th year here as the carpentry instructor out at Central High School. I have one child that graduated from Central. I'm a Central graduate myself. And I really enjoy what I do every day.
Okay. Now, Shane, tell me a little bit about your background. What did you do before you became an instructor here?
Well, I worked in the carpentry field. I worked with the Overhead Door Company of Columbus, and then just residential framing and that sort of thing.
All right, okay. Now, you have one of your students standing by you over here. Young lady, would you come in a little bit closer here? Tell us your name, please.
My name is Terica Hightower.
Okay, and tell me how long you've been in the carpentry class here. How many years?
Well, I'm a sophomore. This is my first year.
This is your first year. Okay, these are offered only to sophomore and above, right?
Right, 10 through 12. The introduction classes, the first year classes are 10th and 11th graders, and then my second and third year classes are 11th and 12th graders.
Okay, all right. Now, Shane, when the public thinks about carpentry instruction at school, I guess the first thing most folks think of is that, oh, that's that class in which they make birdhouses and planter boxes and so forth and so on. Now, you get a little more complex than that with your instruction, don't you?
That's correct. We our second and third year students do somewhat most of the live work. We do shooting houses for hunters, picnic tables, garden benches. Now, my introduction classes, we spend the first 9 weeks going over, introducing them to the tools, how to use them properly, how to take care of them, and then after they successfully pass all their safety quizzes and that sort of thing, I'll let them start working on the project. But usually the first project is a dog house or a garden bench. So we don't really do a lot of bird houses or things like that.
Okay, little bigger items.
Bigger items.
I know I have a picnic bench, a big picnic table at the house that I bought at auction several years ago.
Yeah.
And that thing's still in good shape.
Well, I appreciate you acknowledging that. We try to put out good products over here.
Right. Now, Shane, I have to ask you this. Are the products that you produce available to the public in some sort of way? For instance, if I were to need a replacement on my picnic table, if I call you and say, Mr. Flippo, could you get me a 6-foot picnic table built and give me a price on it? Could you do that?
Yes, sir. We sure could.
You want to give folks the number that they need to call?
They can call the high school 298-3626 and ask for the carpentry program, carpentry shop. We have a catalog that's online under the Central High School website, under the Career Tech page. There's a catalog they can look through.
And many different items on that in that catalog. Then.
Absolutely, and it covers all of our Career Tech courses.
Okay, all right. Young lady, step this way again so I can see your face, okay? Now tell me what you have really enjoyed about being in this class.
I really enjoyed using the miter saw.
The miter saw. Tell me about the miter saw. What's that saw do?
Well,
It cuts, right? I knew that was the answer. It's used to cut angles, right? Cut moldings.
yes, sir.
Okay. Did you learn a lot?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. Okay. All right. Well, folks, once again, we're going to be visiting with several areas in the school today. We're going to be moving on in just a moment to another area. We're going to be moving on over to masonry. Shane, again, thank you so much for letting us come into your class. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we'll look forward to seeing you again soon.
All right, thank you.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
The living room. It's a great place to watch TV. Just like your backyard, break time at the office, or waiting for your ride. Now you can watch TV everywhere. Stream your favorite shows or live TV from many channels in your cable package on any computer, tablet, or smartphone. It's all included in your Cable TV of East Alabama TV service for no extra cost. Sign up to watch TV everywhere today. Call or visit ctvea.net to learn more.
Which planet are we living on? Right here.
What do you think it would be like to teach?
They're all a part of our...
Chances are, you have no idea.
We're gonna turn on the lights and everybody...
They are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places, and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable. That's what it's like to teach.
Hey, honey, take your blood pressure medication.
Thanks, dear.
Daddy, are you going to the hospital again?
No, son. Bad medication from a dishonest website got me sick. Now we only use sites approved by NABP or that end in .pharmacy, so we know they're safe.
Learn more about the new .pharmacy domain and ordering medications safely online at safe.pharmacy, a public service from the National Association of Boards of Pharmacy.
Well, folks, as you can tell, we've now moved into the masonry area here at the Career Technical area of Central High School. Want to introduce you to Jeff Shepard, who is the instructor here. Jeff, thank you so much for taking time out and coming.
Appreciate you coming back.
And being with us.
Yes, sir.
What we want to do, Jeff, is we want to talk a little bit about, you know, your instructional program here. But before we do, since you've never been on a program with us before, you have to look into the camera and introduce yourself to our audience. Okay. Tell us about yourself and your family, your background, how long you've been here, and all that kind of good stuff.
Okay. Well, I'm Thomas Jefferson Shepard, Jr. Sounds like a bank president's name, but
yeah. I bet you'd make a little more money, though, don't you?
Probably would, but wouldn't have as much fun. You know,
That's right.
get to work outside with this. And I've been the masonry instructor here at Central High School for, this is my 24th year. I worked in the field for about 15 years before that. Learned under an excellent mason named Bobby Wilson. Taught me just about everything I know. I've maintained a side business while I've been teaching over the years. The kids help me with those things sometimes. We work on live work projects during the school. We built the signs in front of Central High School. We built the rocket sign over by the intermediate school. We built the signs over at South Girard High School, or at South Girard School. My wife is Amy Savage, maiden name. Her father, Ralph, started Chattahoochee Valley Community College, and I'm sure you know him well, knew him well.
I did.
He was a good guy, always treated me well. He helped me get this job, as a matter of fact, helped me with the application process, as a matter of fact. I enjoy teaching. I guess some of the negative aspects about it is the hours get a little long sometimes, but that's just the way it goes. You know, that's part of the process. Anything worthwhile that you do, you know, takes a little bit of time and effort. I enjoy being around the kids. By and large, most of my kids work really hard, and those that need a little correction, you know, we're working on those too. And we have confidence we're going to turn a good product out of here. I have two kids. I have Beth is working in the construction industry also, metal building. She's a drafter actually, and my son Jeffrey, of course he calls himself Jeff Shepard now. He's appropriated my name. I have to go by Thomas. Right. My son Jeffrey is at TSIS, and he's moving up in the company over there. Makes a lot more money than his dad does, but have real good kids. I have 3 grandkids also, and I've got about by this time 2,500 other kids that I've tried to invest my life in over the years.
Exactly right. That's one of the rewards of teaching, is that you can look at those kids that you've taught in the past and realize that they've made successes of themselves.
Yes, sir.
Now, I asked Shane when we were in the carpenter area a while ago, Jeff, if any of your products or any of your services are available to the public and how they would go about accessing these services or these products.
Sure. Well, as I said, I have a side business. We have the kids involved in that, so I'm available for quotes on that. But the products that we build in shop here are these concrete flower pots. We also fabricate bird baths. We fabricate picnic table sets. The flower pots are $20 a piece. They're available to the general public. Just call the office down here, and Miss Baker will let us know what your order is. The bird baths are $100 a piece, and the table sets are $200 to the general public.
Okay. Now, we're going to get some good shots of those in just a moment, and of the kids actually doing some of the work in here.
Sure.
But, again, if folks are interested in any of your services or any of your products, they just call the office and just ask for the Career Tech Wing and go from there, right?
Right. Just call the vocational office and ask for Christy Baker, and she'll make us aware of what your needs are and what we need to do to satisfy.
Okay, good. Well, what we're going to do, folks, as we mentioned to you earlier, we're going to visit with about 5 different areas here at the school today, and this is going to be a continuing program. It'll be on Monday nights at 6:30 for 3 continuous weeks. Again, Jeff, we wanted to say thank you, and we appreciate you visiting with us. We're going to actually get some additional footage of the kids actually doing some work, and we'll move on to our next department shortly. Thanks again.
Yes, sir.
Being prepared is a part of who you are, but it's especially important in the case of a disaster. Be informed about possible emergencies in your area. Make a plan that covers where you'll go in an emergency. Build a kit with the things you need to survive. There's no one more capable of planning for your situation than you. Start your plan today. Go to ready.gov/myplan.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Well, folks, we've now moved into another area here at the vocational school at Central High School. We want to introduce you to Ryan Hayward, who is the instructor here in automotive technology. Ryan, welcome to Focus on East Alabama. We appreciate you being with us. Now, this is the first time you've ever been on program, so we have a custom that all of our first-time guests have to look into the camera and tell folks about themselves, who you are, where you came from, your background, what you've done in the past, how long you've been here, your family, and all that kind of good stuff. Then we're going to talk about what you actually do, okay?
All right. Well, I'm Ryan Hayward. All of my training has been from the industry. I've worked in several different shops around town, managed several shops. I've got about 12 years of experience under my belt. And this is just what I've always done, what I've always loved. It's in my blood. And I'm really enjoying sharing that with the students and seeing them actually learn and catch on to things.
How about your family?
I've got a beautiful wife and 3 handsome young boys. They're all 5 years apart. My youngest is 4, my middle son is 9, and my oldest is 14.
Okay, now I know your wife has a name, right?
Yes, Carrie.
Carrie, okay. And does Carrie work?
Yes, out in the Lee County School District.
Okay, what is she a teacher?
Yes, the special needs kids out at Wakuchi.
Oh, okay, that's great. All right. Now, tell us a little bit about some of the services that you offer as far as the public is concerned here, Ryan, because, you know, when folks think about the career technical area of the high school, they don't realize that there are services that are available to them here through the school, right? Tell us a little bit about that program.
We do offer a little bit of everything, a lot of light services, belts and hoses and tune-ups and oil changes, of course battery changes and tires, just from regular rotation and balance to complete, dismount and remount new tires. We patch tires as well. Front-end alignments, 4-wheel alignments. We try not to get into major jobs like motors or transmissions for the public, just because of the amount of time it takes, and the amount of time they would be without their vehicle due to having to allow a particular set of students stay on the job so it can be completed properly.
Okay, suppose I wanted to bring my car in just for servicing and have you check it out and make sure everything was all right with it. How would I go through that process?
I believe the process would be just to email Mr. Cook, if somebody from the public.
Wait a minute, now you're talking to an old man. I don't have email. There are a lot of folks out there that don't have email. Okay.
Realistically, you could just stop by and see us here on site.
That was the answer I was looking for. Okay, all right.
And you know, we'd be glad to give you an estimate. A normal checkout, say if somebody was wanting to buy a car and they wanted it checked out before they bought it, they could bring it by here, and for $20, we'll put it on the lift and go from tip to tail and make sure it's a worthwhile vehicle to invest in.
Okay, all right. Now, how about just normal service on one? Say we wanted to change oil and change the filter and top off the fluids and lubricate the vehicle and so forth. What does something like that normally run?
It's $32.95. That includes the oil and filter and and any fluids to top off, windshield washer fluid or anything. And again, they inspect it to make sure there's no upcoming maintenance required.
Right, and it might want to point out to the public too that these funds go back into the operation of the school itself, not necessarily just this area, but any area in the vocational area, right?
Correct. It does go back into an account for the vocational program, for improvements and consumables and anything we need.
Okay. Now, I'm going to back away for just a moment because I want to get a good shot of this car that's sitting in behind us here. And if you will, I'm going to step over in this direction so that Matt can get a good shot of this. And I'm just going to ease around. I'm going to turn my back on the camera for a minute. But tell us a little bit about this car.
This is our race car. The kids built this. They've done everything to it. It was actually white originally when they got it. It was a bone stock 95 Camaro. It's still in the finishing stages. We've got a lot of plans for the future. But there's been extensive work done getting it to the position it's in. It's got full aftermarket suspension under it, a roll cage. Got a custom tune in the computer. The engine's been rebuilt and beefed up considerably. We're in the process of building a rear end for it so we can put slicks on the back of it so it'll grip better at the track and everything. I mean, we literally load this thing up on the trailer and take it to the track and have a good time and keep the kids interested.
And next time it's raced, you're going to be driving it.
Yes, sir.
All right, good. Thanks for being with us, and we're going to move on into another area. Ron, again, I appreciate you taking your time and visiting with us. We'll move on to our next area. Well, folks, we have now moved into what is known to be the coolest area at Central High School. And I want to introduce you to Tommy Bird. Tommy, thank you for taking time out and being with us on program. We appreciate it very much, and I have some questions for you. First one is, can you tell us about yourself, who you are, where you came from, about your family?
Yeah.
This is the first time that you've been on program, so we customarily ask folks to do this.
Yes.
Just look into that camera and tell
Yes,
folks about
I'm
yourself.
originally from Bay Minette, Alabama, and actually talking about HVAC, I was at North Baldwin Center of Technology back when I was these kids' age, which was about 40 years ago. And basically, I've operated in that type atmosphere ever since. I've taught at Faulkner State Junior College for 5 years. I taught at North Baldwin Center of Technology for 2 years. I now teach here at Central, and I also teach over at Chattahoochee Valley Community College.
How long you been at Central?
5 weeks, 6 weeks.
Oh, so you're brand new to the crew.
I'm a rookie, yes.
All right. Now, you have family.
Yes, I do. I have a wife. Her and I have been married for 38 years.
She has a name too, doesn't she?
She does. Her name is Sheena.
Okay.
And I have 2 kids, Jeremy, and he has a wife, Natasha, and I have a granddaughter, Jillian. I have a daughter that works at Auburn University, and her name is Stephanie.
Now I have to ask you a question, Tommy, because not being in this business, I've always wondered what in the world. I mean, I can understand the H in HVAC, right? HVAC. I know the AC is air conditioning. What in the world is the V for?
It's for venting, and that's a lot of times we vent spaces to get fumes and different smells out of there. But we also, of course, in your house, you have a vent over your stove and a vent in your bathroom and a vent on your dryer. So we do that type ducting also.
Oh, okay. Now, I had a roof installed recently, a new metal roof installed on our house, and they took the stove vent just went through the roof and out through a vent to the outside. They took that out and just covered it with that metal roof, and just the vent now just vents into the attic. Is that dangerous?
Yes, that's very dangerous. I would go back to your roofer and ask him to penetrate that roof, because that gas stove puts off a gas that'll.
No, we're sorry, we don't have gas. We have electric.
Okay, so if it's not venting on your air conditioner's not, so. No. So if there's no gas venting out there, so you're okay.
Exactly. We're total electric.
Okay, so they took that out because it had been used in the past.
Well, actually, no. We just had it put in. The guy that built the house said we just needed to vent it to the outside. I guess to get the odor outside.
Yeah. No, unless your exhaust fans out of your bathrooms or your stove is venting to the outside, you have total electric. You have no reason to have a vent in your roof.
Okay, good. I'm glad you answered that question for me. Maybe somebody out there needs that. Yeah. Now, we've asked in every department that we've been in thus far, do you offer services to the public here at in this area in heating and air conditioning?
I do not personally. We do live work here, but because it's we're not able to go to people's houses and work on their units. But if they have freezers or window units or whatever they want to bring to us, then we'll be glad to work towards getting them working back like they're supposed to.
Okay. I'll ask you a question off camera in a minute about a freezer then. Okay. Now, also need to know exactly, kind of the course of study that the kids go through here.
We work through the course of study, the state course of study, which is HVAC, but we work through a basis of NCCER, which is a curriculum that covers all the gamuts of construction. We teach them basic tool usage. This class that you're going to be looking at today is a first-year class, so they'll be learning about hand tools. You'd be surprised how many of them do not recognize basic hand tools. We'll be learning about power tools. Of course, we'll be learning about safety, and so then we incorporate that in the actual function and operation of heating and air conditioning.
Okay, Tommy, again, thank you very much for being with us. We have one more stop to make today as far as this program is concerned, but we appreciate it very much. We're going to move on to another area. Well, folks, we have come to the conclusion of today's program as far as Focus is concerned, and our tour of the career technical area of Central High School. It's our pleasure now to introduce you to Robert Smith, who is the instructor in the welding area. Robert, thank you so much for being with us on program. And I told you just a moment ago off camera, it's customary that whenever you're on the first time, you always have to tell folks about yourself, your family, and your background, and this kind of thing. So I'm going to let you just tell folks all about yourself.
All right. Okay, Robert Smith. I'm 37 years old. I've got 2 kids, and I'm graduated from Central High School back in '97, and I'm a product of this program here.
Tell me a little bit about how the welding program works here, some of the basic things that kids learn while they're in this program.
We bring them in. The first thing we do is safety. We do that for about 3 weeks, and then we move them down here and we start doing shielded metal arc welding, and they'll work on just learning the basic skills, the hand-eye coordination for about the first 9 weeks, and then we'll move them on to doing some actual weld joints, learn them how to prep the joints, things like that.
Okay, all right. Now, do you just have 10, 11, 12th graders now?
Correct. That's correct.
Okay, and basically that 10th grade level is primarily introductory, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
You have some seniors in this group. I know.
We have quite enough room for them in the advanced class, so we put them in here to help out with the first-year students.
Robert, I know that you offer some services here to the public. In the event that someone would like to order something special made, maybe they have a drawing of something that they want done, do you have kids that would be capable of doing this kind of job?
I do. One thing our second and third year students do, we teach them blueprint reading. So they're able to take a drawing and a pile of metal, and I can just turn them loose with it.
Okay, that sounds great. Okay, again, thank you, Robert, so much. And again, thank you for the great job that you did on my smoker grill. This is going to be the end of this particular series and on Focus. Again, folks, need to remind you that it will be on Monday nights at 6:30 this week, and then for 2 weeks thereafter. We're going to visit every area in the vocational school. Thanks for being with us, and need to remind you this is brought to you courtesy of Cable Television of East Alabama, your hometown provider for cable television, high-speed internet, and home telephone.